Hello, and welcome to another episode of Podcast DX, the show that brings you interviews with people just like you whose lives were forever changed by a medical diagnosis. I'm Lita, and Jean will not be with us today.
And I am Ron, and I will be with us today.
Thank goodness.
Today, we're going to use Lita as our guest.
Hold on. Wait, let me look at this.
We need to insert the applause button. Actually, that reminds me, we would actually love to have you as a guest on the show. We can be reached by email at info@podcastdx.com. But for now, let's go over what the topic of today's show is. Lita, I know that we are in the middle of a special series on the future of medicine. Previously, we covered medicine in transition, why healthcare looks different than it does 10 years ago. And in AI in medicine, is AI a tool, a partner, or a problem? Last week was from survival to quality of life, why outcomes are being redefined. So, what's the title of the show this week?
Chronic illness isn't rare anymore, and why the system is playing catch-up.
Well, in that case, both you and Jean could be guests.
Yeah, but she said that she's good on the other side of the mic, so she's not here.
All right. Literally, she is not here. Okay, so let's start out, Lita. You have multiple complex conditions. So living with these conditions is incredibly challenging, I'm assuming. What do you think are some of the most important solutions or changes needed in the healthcare system to better support you and people that have conditions like you?
Great question, Ron.
I try.
Well, first, I believe that we need a shift toward truly patient-centered care. That means developing care plans that are personalized, ongoing, which means you can change them if the outcomes aren't what you expected, and involve a team of specialists who communicate effectively. Right now, many of us see different doctors who don't always coordinate, leading to fragmented care.
That makes a ton of sense. Well, how about technological solutions? Any innovations that give you hope?
Well, technology does have enormous potential. For example, the wearable devices can continuously monitor vital signs and alert patients and doctors to early warning signs like irregular heart rhythms, got it. Blood pressure drops, got it. Telemedicine has also been a game changer, especially for those with mobility issues or who live far from specialized clinics.
Well, that does sound promising, Lita. Are there any specific apps or tools that you've found helpful for you?
Yes, indeed.
Please tell us.
There are apps that track your symptoms, track your medicine or medication schedules, and your triggers. Some are even connected to your medical devices or your health records, making it easier to share data with your healthcare team. And I'm thinking about smartwatches right now, or Garmin's, like that type of thing. However, these tools need to be user-friendly and accessible for all, including or especially those with disabilities or the elderly who don't always understand these technologies.
What about other things such as research or even policy changes? How can they better support people that have complex chronic conditions?
Well, first of all, we need increased funding for research based on multi-system disorders like what I've got, Ehlers-Danlos, or what a lot of people are getting now from long COVID, dysautonomia. Better understanding of these conditions will lead to more effective treatments, and policies should also promote integrated care models where primary care doctors, specialists, mental health providers, therapists, rehab treatment centers. What I don't mean like rehab, like addiction, but
Like
rec
the
therapy,
skilled nursing.
occupational therapy, physical therapy, music therapy. They all work seamlessly together. Those would be ideal.
Okay. Well, what about advocacy? What patients or loved ones can do to push for what can patients or loved ones do to push for these changes?
Well, advocacy is crucial, and joining different patient organizations, participating in awareness campaigns. Social media has a lot of groups that you could join. Speaking out about your experiences can influence policy. Educating healthcare providers through workshops or resources is also helpful. The more we share real stories, the more policymakers can see the urgent need for change.
Well, do you have any examples or programs of places that are doing this well?
My very, very favorite is the Mayo Clinic.
Okay.
There are clinics like the Mayo Clinic or Cleveland Clinic that specialize in multi-system disorders, and they use a multidisciplinary approach. They coordinate care among or across specialties, and they result in better outcomes. Telehealth programs in certain regions also connect patients with specialists remotely, reducing travel and wait times.
Well, that's actually pretty inspiring, Lita. Thank you. For our listeners who might be managing chronic illnesses, what practical steps can they take?
Well, I would suggest having a notebook and track your symptoms and triggers.
Okay.
So that would be like a journal, or you could use apps or medical devices to track your symptoms. You need to build a support network of your healthcare providers who communicate well and listen to you. I guess you could change healthcare providers if they don't.
Right.
Don't hesitate to ask questions or seek second opinions. And most importantly, advocate for yourself. Know that you have rights and seek out resources or support groups that are aligned with your vision of what health would be.
Okay, that's excellent advice. And I think advocacy is probably the biggest thing there. If you don't push, if you don't advocate for yourself, who will?
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Before we finish, do you see a future where these challenges are addressed more effectively within the medical community?
Well, currently, yeah. I believe the ongoing research and technological innovation and a genuine shift toward patient-centered care, we can create a healthcare system that truly supports people with complex chronic illnesses. And it's about moving from being reactive to proactive, personalized care. If you have any questions or comments related to today's show, you can contact us at podcastdx@yahoo.com. We have a website, podcastdx.com. We're on Facebook, Twitter, or X, Pinterest, and Instagram.
And if you have a moment to spare, please give us a review wherever you get your podcast. As always, please keep in mind that this podcast is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified healthcare provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition and before undertaking a new healthcare regime, and never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking it because of something you've heard in this podcast.
Till next week.